And welcome back to part 2 of episode 22 of the FURNcast. Still sponsored by Destiny. Links are still there. And for audio-only listeners, that's going to be really fucking confusing.
That's going to be really weird if you're not watching the video.
It's pretty weird anyway.
Valid point. Valid
Thank
point.
you, Tech Goblin. Oh lordy! Right, so yes, part 2. You two did start on the sort of road of just general GM and DM chat.
Yes.
So maybe this time try and focus it into like actual tips and whatnot.
This time we'll stay on the road rather than driving off the road, then
Getting
somehow
lost in some trees.
getting lost in trees, and then somehow ending up at sea in a car, which is still moving.
Well, clearly it's that Bond car.
Yeah.
Then. It's the Lotus Esprit that goes into a submarine.
Maybe that's a perfect time to tip number 1, railroading.
I like it. That's a good segue. Railroad your players into the sea.
How to avoid the sensation of railroading.
Note I said players, not characters. Players.
Choo choo,
Oh.
motherfucker! Splash!
Oh, how many times I wanted to do that.
Yeah, so railroading. For people who aren't familiar with the term, is where the games master forces the player characters to follow a particular direction in a particular order and to do the thing that they've told them that they have to do. Essentially, the dungeon master is writing a story and the players have to follow the story. That's worded really badly. They've written a novel and the players don't get to make any decisions. They just go from point A to point B.
It's a straight book rather than a choose your own adventure book.
Yeah.
You don't just go, oh, I need to turn to page 8 now.
Yeah.
No, you're doing it like this.
You just read the book. Which, if I will say, if you're a game master who does that, just write a book. You will enjoy yourself so much more. Things will happen as you want them to happen. Stop forcing your players into doing what they don't want to do.
Yeah. I think you've got a really good example of like or a good example of railroading and how bad it is.
I'm looking at you blankly.
You did have one. Your GM that you used to play with that you fucking hated.
Yes, no, you're right. Yeah, I absolutely yes. That was he was the freaking everything was an invisible wall. There were so many invisible walls of. He was running one of the pre-gen campaigns. He was doing Prince of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Which has the notes of in this particular area the character should be this level, and which is fair enough because if they're below this level they're going to struggle. The downside of that is he let us roll stats, and I was playing a wood elf monk and I rolled an 18 for my dexterity. So I started the game with 20 dex, so literally nothing could fight us. I blitzed my way through everything we came up to.
Yeah.
We had a fighter in the party, and the fighter only started matching me in damage output, I think about level 10. Which is like, I shouldn't be out damaging the fighter. That shouldn't be happening. But and then I got a broken weapon, and then nothing could hurt us ever again. Everything just died before it did anything. I always had a lot. But yes, he was very much. One of the examples was when we were exploring one of the temples. We opened a door to one of the other temples. And we opened the door and it was like, oh yeah, there's 8 earth elementals standing there, just looking at you.
Oh, this wasn't the example I was referencing to, but continue.
That's fine. There's a lot of examples from that campaign, to be fair. There's one I can think of right now, which was like, I think there were 5 of us, and we were like level 6 or 7. Like, 8 earth elementals. Cool, we're not killing that. That's not happening.
Yeah.
So we shut the door and carried on, and they didn't follow us. They literally just stood there and looked at us. It was like, okay, that's just an invisible wall. You're telling us we cannot go in that direction because you don't want us to go there.
Yeah.
What was the example you were thinking of?
If I recall correctly, it was something along the lines of like, he said, oh, you can go left, which goes to XYZ, or right to ABC. And you guys picked right,
yeah.
and he went, actually, I haven't
Yes.
built that yet, so you have to go left.
It wasn't fully that. It was we were trying to find a landmark in the wilderness, and we were looking specifically for this landmark, and we were at a town. We were told, yeah, there's like 3 roads going up this town. One's the road you came in, which you know doesn't go to that landmark. Cool. One that goes like east, and the landmark's the south, so that's not the right word. And there's a road that goes south. And we were like, oh, okay. So if we we've asked around, does that road lead to that landmark? Yes, it does. Cool, wonderful. We'll go that way because that's where we want to go. We start walking down there, and we go, okay. So can we see this landmark yet? Oh no, you can't see it. This doesn't go there. You're not going in that direction. What? What? Yeah, what? That's where we wanted to go. Why are we going this way? Oh, so sad.
You okay?
Casual
You know
death.
what my random coughing fits can be like? They sneak up on me.
Like a sneaking, stabbing assassin.
Moving on. Going back
What
to
was
railroading.
that?
That was a Vermintide 2 reference, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, hold on.
That's what the assassin does.
Yes.
It jumps you. It really does, but
Because it is a hunter. It's
Yeah.
just Left 4 Dead, that game.
yeah, it is. Although the assassins really can do like during the NASA space program with their leaps and like launch themselves in the air. It's ridiculous how high they sometimes fly. It's just like that, just straight up missed. Like what?
Where do you come from? The other side of the map. What?
Where are you going? Like. I have a good clip. I will show you the clip afterwards. It's really funny. If you're watching this, you don't watch the clip now. Watch the clip after this. It's called, I think it's called literally the Kerbal Space Program. And it was clipped by one of the viewers to make it even better. It was that stupid.
Fantastic.
So
Railroading.
yes, railroading. Railroading isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's just how you do.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, as a DM, you've got a story. You're doing the story.
Yeah.
But it's rather than narrating a story and the players are the characters, it's about narrating the story that's been developed by other characters.
Yes. Yeah.
So make everything seem like it's the player's choice.
Yes.
Everything is their decision,
that's-
not your decision.
That's always the important thing, the illusion of choice.
Yeah.
You don't have to give them an option. As we said earlier about the going to various towns, they could all be the exact same town.
Yeah.
Players won't know. They're never going to find out.
Just change a few NPC names.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I have to do that. Like, you just be like, this town is called this, and this town is called this. Where are you going? This one, doesn't matter which one, you're ending up in a pirate town.
Yeah.
It's the same town.
Yeah.
And then when you go over here, I've built something else, because I don't know what the other town is yet now.
You just know it's there.
Yeah.
Or like giving clues
Yeah.
of where you're going here and there. So they've got to sit there and try and work out where they're going.
Yeah.
And why they're going themselves. And then they realise, oh no, we have to go and do this thing.
Yeah.
You're like, yes.
Yes,
And not fixate on a complete nondescript point.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounded like you were shouting at your players a little bit then, not going to lie.
We need to find out who the Night Queen is.
No, they don't, I'm guessing.
Yeah. That is the biggest thing with the pre-made modules. They are railroady in essence.
Yeah.
But then you can go into that being like, as a player, this is a railroaded campaign. It is going to happen. You can't get around it.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
That bloody cloud giant.
I do have to say that is by far the worst example in one of the pre-gen campaigns for a railroad
That
thing.
bloody cloud giant.
So that's the Storm King's Thunder campaign. Storm King's Thunder, spoilers if you intend on playing the campaign. If you intend on running the campaign, this is probably worth listening to, because in Chapter 1 you'll encounter the players will encounter a cloud giant on a cloud giant castle, and he's specifically there to help move them from point A to point B. in the air, because you can do that. This is kind of a giant castle.
Because it flies.
Yeah.
We were like, sweet, free taxi ride. I think we wanted to go to Waterdeep.
You want to go to Waterdeep,
Waterdeep, please!
which you were like a day walks outside of.
Yep, we were that lazy.
But he was like, oh, I'll fly you there. But the book is like, when he attempts to go to a place that the players want, he gets lost and ends up somewhere else instead. But it wouldn't have been so bad if they were trying to go to a place that was like a 2-week journey away, because it wouldn't have been anywhere near as obvious. They were going a day's travel, and his getting lost was to end up 2 weeks up the Sword Coast. But it's like, they obviously noticed after the first day that they weren't ending up in the right place. And they were like, yeah, can you go back here? Can you turn around? You've literally flown over it. And he was like, oh, okay, I'll turn around. And then, like, half an hour later, just start drifting off in the wrong direction again. And they were like, oh, I think you actually just literally as players are like, are we actually going to end up at Waterdeep? And I was like, the book doesn't let me do it. Like, it's really crap, but it's the only way to move the story forwards. Once you get off this castle, he disappears, and you no longer have the way to the rest of the story. So,
Yeah.
I didn't really think about the fact that you might go to Waterdeep first. Even though that's literally where you are, that actually, now that you've said it, makes by far the most sense. Why wouldn't you go to Waterdeep?
Yeah, because that one starts in the small village Anfield.
Yeah.
And Waterdeep is literally...
It's literally there, yeah. So yeah, and it's literally like, oh yeah, Waterdeep is going to have a bunch of people who are going to be working together to work out what the hell is going on with all giants right now. That's a good place to go and be like, we're here to help. And the story's just like, nah, we're going to take you to, where is it? Icewind Dale instead.
Yeah.
One of the 3 places you can end up. It is the furthest away, but it was also because, well, you get there and you immediately have an encounter with a bunch of giants, and the character's level 2. Yeah, so it's you can go to I can't remember now. You go to a small like farming village which has walls, and that gets attacked, and it's hill giants and goblins and bugbears. Less of a problem, but I didn't want to do that because one of my players had already done that in another Storm King's Thunder thing. Had already done that chapter or that city, so I was like, I'm going to avoid that because otherwise there's going to be nothing for him to do there because he knows exactly what's going to happen, when and how to fix it. So it's just, let's not go to that. The other one was a wallless city where fire giants appeared, and I was like,
you're level 2.
Level 2, they're just going to die. There's literally no point sending them there. They're just going to turn up and die. So it's like, cool. So I'm left with the frost giants and Icewind Dale on a walled settlement. Well, at least there's walls. They can't attack the players until they break through the walls. Which allowed the player to survive and sacrifice 2 NPCs.
Nice.
Wheelbarrow. Not explaining that one, just wheelbarrow.
Go watch our YouTube channel and you can find out what the wheelbarrow means.
There somewhere.
Yeah, so it's quite early on. And that's also when we were naming things, so it might actually be called like the Icewind Dale or the name of the city or something.
Keep talking, I'm going to find it.
You're going to find it. Yes, that was a particularly a particularly bad railroad because it forced you into this thing. There would have been better ways of handling it if I was to do it now. But at the time, it was just like, yeah, that's the way you end up. Yep.
That's the one?
Yep, that
Episode 9.
Episode 9, yeah, quite early. Episode 9, level 2, fighting frost giants. So railroading. Always make your... I said railroading is bad, you shouldn't do it, but actually it's a useful tool to an extent, which it cannot be obvious. You cannot be there going, I am going to force my players to go to this point because that's where I want stuff to happen.
You don't want to ever have a player accuse you of railroading a story.
Yeah.
It's not pleasant.
Yeah. Yes.
Actually, I've never had that.
I've never been accused. The book has been accused of it. The thing I've been using has been accused of it.
Yeah, the books, definitely.
Or I'm outright front about the fact of, I'm kind of railroading you guys right now because I don't have anything else for you to do. So I need you to go in this direction because it's built. which is sort of what I do in the homebrew campaign currently. There's an element of freedom, but there's also a lot of, I only have this direction built, so have fun this way, please.
Yeah.
But then the other side of that, because a big reason why, if you're an experienced GM and you can end up railroading people, is if your players are not taking the hooks. If they constantly ignore the hooks you set out in front of them, at some point you have to reach this point of, I need the story to happen.
Yeah.
So here's the train track. Off you go.
Oh yeah, that will always.
Yeah.
It happens a lot.
Which, yeah, I mean, as a player, if your GM drops a hook in front of you, just because your character would be like, bite. Bite at that hook. It's far more interesting when you get to go out and play an adventure rather than sit in the tavern drinking. Sitting in the tavern drinking will be entertaining for 1, maybe 2 sessions, then it will kind of get boring.
I mean, I've had a session where we've ended up just in the tavern and it ended up in an arm wrestling competition.
We've
where
had
the druid kept going.
We've had some interesting tavern sessions, I will say. In interesting, there was one that involved playing on a table with playing cards on a
That one.
Yeah.
The sticky one.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
God.
the sticky episode.
Sticky episode. That's also Storm King Thunder.
It's the same campaign. Yeah. That is an interesting. I think we've had other weird tavern ones. That's the most out there one.
The one where you decided to hit someone in the face with the spell at the same time was quite a good one.
Oh yeah, that was one of the Christmas one shot wasn't actually me running it. It was Ivan running that, and he intentionally built a tavern brawl into the story. It was just going to happen. And I was playing a gnome cleric of trickery. Gnome cleric of something. I don't think it was trickery. It was one of the other ones. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to punch him, and then rather than punch him, I'm going to cast Inflict Wounds. But I want to make it look like I'm punching him. I just yeah.
Punch.
And he was like, sure, roll some dice to see if it happened. And for those of you who aren't aware, I am blessed by the dice gods. And I got away with it. Twice. And nearly killed just random NPCs, random commoners that I nearly just outright murdered.
Murder hobo.
Yes. Actually, that I think can tie nicely to a second tip: is actions have consequences. Always make sure whatever your players do have a consequence, bad or good. Good consequences are good. Reward players for doing sensible things, and punish players for being a murder hobo.
And sticking halflings in bags.
And sticking halflings in bags.
Which led to one character's arrest, so that player had to make a new character.
2 characters arrest, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah.
You have the power to grant them.
Yes.
Or inspiration dice as well.
I've
Or
actually
inspiration points.
inspiration. Yeah, I finally remembered to start using inspiration in this campaign. Oh, it took me 4 years. I constantly forgot it was a thing.
That's fair.
I've handed out 4 now, I think.
I can remember one, so, you know.
That's fair. But yeah, you should. I mean, if players want to go down the murder hobo route, then make sure. That's why session 0. Actually, that probably should be high. We'll talk about that later. Session 0 is important, but if some parties will want to just be murder hobos. If that is worked out in advance, you can build a murder hobo campaign.
Yep.
But you're obviously not going to be able to build a campaign of you guys are all going to be knights of justice if they're going to go around literally murdering everyone they meet. It won't happen. There's no point building that campaign. So you want to actions into consequences. Obviously, if there is a bunch of people running around murdering villages, then the cities that are supposed to be defending them are at some point going to hire bounty hunters to go find the people running around murdering entire villages. So at some point as players you're going to get punished because of your murder hoboness. But, you know.
One of those things I remember, that dark, mysterious backstory you gave me. Yeah, I'm going to use that against you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, also when your players do something, it's where the rule of cool, the rule of fun, depending on how you want to go. When the players come up with a way of solving a problem that's super creative, a good way of rewarding them is just to let it happen.
Yep.
Just be like, don't roll dice. It just happens because I want to see what happens when it happens.
I've actually had one campaign, a player going up against high-level humans.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of fighting, the character polymorphed this veteran warlord. It was a warlord.
Mm-hmm.
Polymorphed it into a cat. Put it in a bag of holding.
Yeah.
Just tied the bag up and just waited.
Yeah. That's one way of dealing with stuff. I think.
So you know what? We're tired of fighting. We've been fighting a lot.
Be a cat now.
Yeah. That actually was in the Rise of Tiamat campaign. One of my players, when they first encountered a Tyrannosaurus Rex, rather than fighting it, turned it into a chicken. Literally sent it a few million years across the evolution and turned it into a chicken. The problem was they then, for some reason, decided to carry the chicken with them, and then an hour later suddenly went, "Yeah, oh wait, we don't actually have a way of getting rid of this now," so buried it upside down in the dirt. and then polymorph ended, so the chicken turned back into T-Rex, upside down, buried in the dirt, and just sort of fell over. And then they just wailed on it until it died. Which was really funny. It was just like,
Poor T-Rex, I feel sorry for it.
it had one of the worst experiences of its life and then died.
The worst thing is, there is a side quest in the Baldur's Gate game that is similar to that.
Oh! God damn it!
Oh, I think I know who came up with this
Yeah.
idea now.
It was you, man.
It was, who plays those games?
The apprentice that cast polymorph on himself and turned himself into a chicken.
God.
I forgot how to drop it.
Oh dear. Ivan.
Been rumbled.
Yeah, you had been rumbled. Eventually.
It's alright, it only took
Sorry.
18 months.
I think longer than that. Because this was back to, this is before we were doing stuff on camera.
4 years.
Yeah.
Your secret's been revealed. Sorry.
Yeah.
Made an enemy for life there, so.
Or a friend.
That's fair.
Depends on if they turn you into a chicken or not, I suppose.
Could be a mouse.
Maybe they'll put a bucket on your head.
This is not a Bethesda game. Doesn't work like that.
You remove the bucket and you're on a cart.
What?
Hello, friend.
No, you were trying to get through the border too. Wait, what? God damn it!
Wow. Oh dear.
Jesus Christ.
Right. Actions have consequences. Did we cover? Have we done that enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Session 0.
Session 0. Which Session 0, I think, should have been number 1.
Probably.
Because it's like the super most important thing you should do. And it's a thing I regularly tell people who want to be GMs to do, and I regularly don't do myself.
Yeah.
Very regularly, I'm just like, I didn't do one. But so Session 0 is like it's a way for you to sort of lay out what you as a GM want from the campaign, what you expect from the players, for players to lay out what they want from a campaign and what they expect from a GM. for you to sort of agree themes on what's going on, to sort of scratch out things that you don't want to be touched on, because there will be topics that players don't want to talk about, which is, for running with a group of friends, it's easier to be like, that person won't want to do this, or I won't do that, and that person won't want to do this, or I won't do that. If you're GMing for a bunch of people you've never met before,
Yes.
it becomes even more important just to be like, what can I not touch on? What's going to make you uncomfortable, or do you have no interest in exploring, or this, that, and the other? Whether PvP is a thing you're allowed to do or not.
Yes.
Because some GMs just disallow PvP at a table.
I'm anti PvP
Oh,
because
funny.
it has become issues in other systems.
Fair
D&D not so much, but
Yeah.
one of my first ever campaigns I ever run was not Dungeons and Dragons, Vampire the Masquerade,
enough. Right.
20th edition. PvP. Everyone wanted to do PvP constantly, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Because it stops progression of story.
Yeah. No, there's PvP is a sort of thing that there has to be an element of the players. There has to be a bit of give and take. Sure, you can sit there and be like, oh, my character's doing this because blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, okay. We've now spent 4 sessions with you guys just fighting with each other. Can you not?
Yeah,
Can you
exactly.
Can you just move forward now?
Yeah, I think I shot another character in Storm King's Thunder once
Yeah.
because he made some silly quips. So I just with the crossbow in hand just went poof. Cool, right? I'm getting on with my life and just walked the other way. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to continue that. I'm just
Little
going to shoot
things
you once
like
and deal with it.
that,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah. I like PvP because I think it can add some. It adds some interesting dynamics to the party when people start disagreeing, like fundamentally disagreeing on stuff. It's not like just disagreeing with a method. It's someone has done something and someone else is like, that's not right, that's not on, etc., etc. And I've always thought, if you can't see the conflict through to the end, to me it's always felt a weird clunkiness to it. If if the end of this thing is they keep hitting each other till one falls down and we say, we're calling it because we're not doing PvP, so you guys have to end the conversation. But I can see it working for some people. Just to me, it's like, I want to watch you guys hit each other to death because I think that's funny.
I think for me, if you have you find players are constantly battering against each other, then a session where you'll arrive at a time and there's a gladiators ring.
Yeah.
Come on, get it out in the open.
Yeah.
That's where I bring in PvP just to get it
Out of their system, essentially.
Yeah. There you go. Beat it out of your system.
Yeah. Other than that, sometimes PvP just.
Not touching that one.
I phrased it that way intentionally.
Not touching that one.
Well, no, because I'm the one beating it out of my system, so of course I'm touching it.
The tech goblin just face pumped hard.
But yeah, so a session 0 is an important thing to just go through all of the things. And the time for it takes depends on what you're doing. I did do a session 0 for our current campaign, and I had a list of, I think it was like 113 points to go through.
Yeah, it was lengthy.
Yeah, it took.
But a lot of that was because of the extra on camera etiquette. Whatnot.
Yeah.
If we weren't filming it, it wouldn't have taken anywhere near as long.
But there was a lot of from the campaigns we've previously played. There were things like, this rule is a little unclear as to how it will work. So here's the clarification on how I am making this particular thing work.
Your tweaks to the rules.
Yes. Yeah, it was a lot of it was like, here's how I'm using the rules. This is where I'm using the raw. This is where I'm using the ray, and then this is where I'm using my homebrew version.
Which DMs can do.
Yes.
That's your rule, PL.
Yeah. My RPL. My rule post Liam. Is that are we agreeing that's a thing now?
Yes.
Wonderful. So that's going to be with
All your
cannibalism.
homebrew stuff is now RPL.
RPL. Cannibalism, I guess, is PL. or rather, the repetition of cannibalism in this is RPL. But yes, so
Those were words. Good God. You want to try that one again?
Can we get a translator in here?
John's not here.
yeah.
Someone else speak.
Lordy.
Yeah, so it's a good thing just to sit down and just lay out what you're doing, cover things like PvP and whatnot. I'm trying to think of what specific things I covered. One of the things I did cover was whether people wanted to do some of the optional rules that were in the book. Things like specific for D&D were like mixing potions and stuff like that, and whether people wanted to use those rules, because I was like, these sound really fun.
Oh yeah.
But they also can screw with the players, so I want to be sure that you guys are happy with it. The other one I did actually was Mercer's homebrew rules for reincarnation, because I really like them, because I feel like D&D doesn't have enough punishment for death. You die and then you come back and that's it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I like these rules, but you guys are also at the table. Do you want to use them? And there was a vote, and I think it came 5. The vote was 5-4, which I was deciding because the players actually drew on their vote, so I was the deciding vote. It was like, well, we're using those rules because I want to. But democracy, there was a clear majority here, so we're fine. I don't think there's anything out there that sort of lists a template for Session 0, which actually there probably should be. Maybe there is on DM's Guild. There probably is on DM's Guild. DM's Guild has a lot of stuff.
If not, that's something you can put on DM's Guild.
That's something someone should put on DM's Guild, yeah.
You might actually do it.
There you go. Is there any particular things you would cover in a Session 0?
So also things like if your players have character concepts, go over that as well.
Yeah.
Character concepts and potential backstories, what elements that you would allow to be used and not. You go over that in a Session 0, makes it cleaner.
Yes. You want to make sure everyone's on the same page before anyone starts putting pencil to paper to create a character. The last thing you want is someone to be like, I've made this. You're like, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah. Things like what races we're using, what classes we're using.
I guess, again, specifically for D&D, an important one is whether you're doing like a high magic, low magic, or medium magic world. Because it's like, oh yeah, we're playing a low magic world. Everyone's turned up with a wizard. Right, we're not doing a low magic world then, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So potential for what this story is.
Yeah.
A guideline as to, obviously not giving away a blurb.
Yeah.
That's a blurb.
Yeah, a quick blurb. I think my blurb for you guys was, I'm going to be creating it's going to be an epic level campaign that is going to be very grim, dark, kind of Lovecraftian, and it's going to be unpleasant. So make a character accordingly. Don't turn up with something that's a joke and that's funny, because it's going to clash horribly with the campaign. And that was great. Everyone came up with great characters. What I really, really liked that a lot of the players hadn't realised, because they don't know each other's backstories, is they've all ended up with similar themes.
Oh, good.
A whole bunch of that, like, they've just created, between the backstories, there's their own underlying themes in the background. I'm just like, yes!
This makes for writing easy.
Yeah.
Especially when you like map out a whole continent, give a brief history of that continent as part of your character's backstory. There's a part of the world for you. There you go. Done.
Yeah.
Which,
That's, yeah. So yes. Anything else for session 0? I think we covered session 0.
I can't think of anything else.
Yeah. It takes as long as it takes. That's the important thing. Until everyone is happy with it, it takes as long as it takes. It's an important thing to get done, so everyone's in the same point. You don't want things popping up halfway through the campaign where someone's like, "Oh, I thought this was the rule," and someone's like, "Oh, I thought it was like this," and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yes. What else is important for tips?
Oh, moving on to the next one. Rules lawyers.
Yes.
And how do you deal with them?
How do I deal with Roy's lawyer? That's not a problem because I am a Roy's lawyer myself.
Yeah, what happens is for the rest of us, we get to sit there for 2 minutes and watch two rules lawyers argue with each other, derail everything.
No, I more or less just said if I say a ruling, if we're going a ruling at a time, I say a ruling, that's the ruling, and then we can discuss later. Afterwards, we can find some stuff to work out what it is.
Yeah.
The main thing I have is I'm almost always confident in what I'm ruling because I spend a lot of time reading things like errata and sage advice and reading all that stuff because it interests me and I like knowing what the rules are, and I am very good at knowing the rules. But I mean, a rules lawyer can be useful at a table.
Oh yeah.
I have been invited to the table I recently had to leave. I was partially invited to because I knew the rules and the DM didn't, and he didn't want to have to learn the rules.
That's useful.
Yeah, so he's just like, you can just be there, and he was happy to make rulings on the fly, but it was literally like, I don't know how this works. He's just like, Liam, how does this work? I'm like, oh, it's like this.
Yeah.
Or, there isn't a rule, I do it like this.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, it sort of depends on how you want it to run. A rules lawyer can be useful, but there need to be a little, again, why section 0, there needs to be a boundary set to be like, this is where we call it. As for whatever's going on, yes. I required moisture. So I just said words and then stopped.
That's how.
Yep.
Stop.
How would you go about with handling rules lawyers?
So for me, if somebody questions it, I go for a more visual basis. So somebody's doing something and then like it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look, if I could imagine this happening right now in front of me, can I see it working? No.
Fair.
Or actually yes. Then if it works, then I might say, okay, no, you're right. If it doesn't, then it's like, no.
Yeah.
But for me, it boils down to, at the end of the day, we are all playing a part in a fantasy. So, like fighter classes that like to stack styles. And then they go, I get +2 to my AC as well as a +4 to my... Because I'm like, no, it's one or the other. We're not going to stack these. You are not combining 2 fighting styles for 1 attack. Because if I saw you doing that in front of me right now, I can see you falling over your own shield to make this attack because you're going, ha! And it does not.
Yeah.
So it's a case of making that particular class make choices.
Yeah.
How do you want to do this sort of thing? See what I did there?
I see what
The immortal words.
That's cool.
Accidental quoting. I do that a lot.
Yeah. Then I guess to talk about rules layer, because the other kind of players you can get the min-maxers, you get the power gamers, and then you get the role players.
Yes.
Which are normally, so I will say, this is where I become really, really weird in how I play games. Because normally, rules lawyer, min-maxer, power gamer, and role player are 4 distinct people.
Yeah.
They don't really clash all together. I am a rules lawyer. I am a rules lawyer who power games but loves to roleplay.
You're a conflict.
I'm a conflict.
You have an eternal conflict.
and I also enjoy min-maxing characters. I always like having a very clear defined strength and a very clear defined weakness. So I, as in many things, an anomaly.
A mess.
I'm just a mess.
Mid-maxer who likes role-playing. That's it.
Yeah, no, I just formed the roleplay camp.
Yeah, you're just straight role playing. Yeah, which is pretty for a role playing game. It's pretty normal.
Yes, I've been very public about this before. It's like why I enjoy RPGs is because it gives me a chance to utilize my drama A level.
Yeah,
like I'm really not particularly fussed about the dice and the mechanics of it all. I'm there to play a character. I'm there to not be me for a couple of hours.
That's fair. I like the zoning out from reality just being a stupid thing, but I want to be good at something. so the power
I think
game.
that's what it boils down to for me. It's just I'd like to be good at something.
But I can't help. Power gaming is what I do. I like winning. I like beating stuff. I realise D&D you don't really win, but you
don't win, do you?
You can beat unless you're Laura Bailey. Then you win D&D.
You do win D&D.
Yeah.
That's a win. But I like just being like, right, I'm playing a fighter. What am I going to do? I'm going to hit things with my sword. Right, so I'm going to hit my sword. So I don't need dex. That can go away. I don't need charisma. That can go away. I probably don't need wisdom. That can go away. Wonderful. Those are dumped. What do I need? Strength. Right, that's maxed. I need con. That's maxed. What have I got left? Intelligence. I can. That's mid of the ground. That will do.
Yeah. I at least be able to go pointy stick goes here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then I have one of the fun things I had when I was playing the other campaign. I have read the monster manual a lot of times, and all of the other stuff, and a lot of the creatures I know the stats off by heart. So it's always fun when I say I'm doing something, and in my head I'm like, this won't work, and I know it won't work. So I know what we're fighting, I know what it's immune to, and I know what I'm about to do won't do anything, and then I do it, and then it works. And I'm like, reread the rule book, reread the stat block, just read the stat block again. Because it doesn't
that's
work.
not supposed to.
It doesn't work. I'm okay with it working, but it doesn't work. Trust me. And they go like, oh yeah, no, it doesn't do anything. Like, yeah. Yes, it doesn't. I'm right.
This is why I keep yelling at a certain player I have who are constantly sitting down with the monster manual. Because literally I'll be describing a creature they come across and it's like, I know what it is!
Shush!
And shut up.
What is funny is I don't always get it from the description, but when they pick up the book and flip to a page, I'm able to go, oh, it's that page, it's this monster. To an extent, like I can't see the page number, but I'd be like, oh, I've just seen what's on that page, so I know what's next to it.
Yes.
So it reached the point that the aims like pick up a book and are like away from me, so I can't see what they've just clicked to. But even then, sometimes I'm like, oh, it's this thing. I know what that is, so it's this.
Yeah, in particular, one of my players, Liam, he does it all the time. He's like, describes, and his eyes widens, and he's like, oh, no. I'm like, shut up. Stop reading the book. Stop reading the book.
The campaign I left, that was one of the DM thought it was one of the funniest things, was when he was describing a creature, and then I would suddenly click what it is, and I'd be like, oh, fuck. And he's like, because it's like, when you say that, the other players look at you and go, "Oh God, what's going on?" Because you're freaking out over whatever it is.
That's where I go, roll nature. Yeah, you know what it is. Now you can tell them. Your character now knows what it is.
I'm regularly always like, "What is it?" Wasn't I like? I'm not telling you. But I know what it is, but I'm not saying. But, oh God.
Why are you doing this to me?
This is why I quite like having a mix of players with a certain setting of roleplay. So, for example, with Dark Heresy, I liked the fact I had you, who knows the 40k lore quite well, and then Jordan, who didn't know anything. So I could put in these lore drops and be like, oh yeah, this statue is of this thing, and there's this on the inscription. You go, oh! And meanwhile, Jordan's like, what the fuck? It's just a statue. Like, what are you going on about? And I'm looking forward to having you be the thick person in the Fallout campaign.
That's gonna be a first. I've not actually had that yet.
You've never been the thick person.
Yeah. So we were talking about the different types of things. We went from rules lawyer. What was
Different types of players.
Yes.
And handler was obviously like the min max actually is a little bit looser because you just that essentially just means I want to be good at this stat and bad at this stat, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be good at really good at what my character is good at, and really bad at what my character is bad at.
So essentially, fighters and barbarians.
I min max everything.
I can min-max a monk quite well, I think.
Yeah.
I have min-maxed monks. I had a monk that was 20 dex and 8 charisma. That's full-on min-maxed monk. Min-maxed paladin, 20 charisma, and then 6 dexterity. I know how to min-max. I just go, what do I need for this to work? I need that. Cool. What do I not need for this to work? That. Well, goodbye. How low can I get you?
Point buying.
Yeah,
he runs point buy with everything.
Point buy is the way I actually use modified point buy, and then for this campaign I created an additional modified point buy. I created heroic point buy because I suddenly realised my players were going to die rapidly if I didn't. I broke my campaign with the very first boss I built, and then went, can I fix this? No. Can I make him weaker? Yes, but then he doesn't do what he's supposed to do. Right. So my campaign's broken. Okay.
Amazing.
That's what we're working with. Everything's busted. Tell my players, make them aware that nothing functions as it should. It is a broken campaign. But so it's a lot easier with handling like min-maxers and role players and power gamers when you're doing like a pre-gen.
Yeah.
Because it automatically has the elements you need to keep them entertained and focused on what's going on. There will be the dungeon crawl for the power gamer. There will be the talk to the people and get the quest for the role player, and then the min-maxers, whatever they're min-maxing, they'll slide into whatever category they need to fit into. But it adds its own challenges when building homebrew.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest challenges I have faced so far, and I'm still not overcome it with players, is the role players. When you're trying to do a discussion thing, and it's happened quite a few times, and I've just been like, oh God, stop. When they just end up going off and have their own little conversation, and they're doing their own little role play thing in the corner, you're just like, I'm giving you really important details here, and you're talking about what your dark, dank backstories in the corner there. Well, what are you doing? Why are we doing this? And it has happened more times than I can count. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't think I really ever had that. I've always, I guess it's because I've only ever GM for friends. It's very easy to be like, "Oi, bitch, I'm talking. Focus here. Look at me."
See, that's where I've got the complete different thing. The games that I run professionally, none of I've never ever have had problems with the players. They are.
That makes sense. They're paid to be there.
Yeah.
But when I'm running for my friends, I'm just like, book goes away, goodbye.
Interesting.
Because it's just like, hey, what did you...
Huh.
I've actually had a band hammer at the table. It was a giant foam hammer. I have actually... and literally it's gone flying across the table.
I love the idea about it. And it was one of the things I did briefly discuss is on the one of the D&D Facebook groups. Someone posted a picture of a D30 and was like, "What can I use a D30 for?" And most of the replies were to throw them at your players when they're being bad. And I was like, "Oh, it's really tempting to get a D30." But my favourite response on that was, "You can use it to generate a random number between 1 and 30." I was like, I mean, yes, you're not wrong. That's
Very not wrong. You hit the nail on the head, actually.
Yeah. That's a brilliant answer. You are a sarcastic bastard. I like that. I never did get a D30. I eventually decided, because they're like that big, they're huge, and it's just like a solid block of plastic. I was like, my aim isn't very good. I'm probably not going to hit the person I'm aiming for. I'm probably going to hit them in a place I don't want to be hitting someone.
And you also run the risk of knocking a drink over or hitting the expensive camera.
Yeah. Well, this was prior to camera. Now I have a juggling ball I could throw at
That's
people.
true.
Just the poof. But I don't really need to. When I start talking, you guys focus rapidly. I think an element of this is there's cameras around. Pay attention is a driving factor there.
I've been known to actually sit there and see this going on in the corner and literally just gone, and then suddenly a mugger comes out and attacks. And they're like, "What? What's just happened?" I'm
What's
like,
going on? Yeah.
"Oh, have I got your attention now? Thanks. You're back in the room." Yeah, amazing. Stop it.
Yeah.
But yes, the different types. It's making sure, doing your best to keep them focused. I think the other thing then is, I suppose this is the next step. If you have problems with players, you talk to them.
Yes.
Outside of the session, you just need to get hold of them and just be like, why are you distracted? What's going on? Why are you not focused? This, that, and the other.
Having those discussions.
Yes. You are, as a GM, you are a, what is the word I am looking for? The thing where you act as an in-between person.
Mediator.
Yes, you are the mediator of the table as well as the person running the table. So you need to, if there's problems between other players, you have to be willing to step in and be like, right, what's up? Stop going at each other's throats all the time.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation and work this out as mature adults. Or we can go out back. I've got some knives, and we can work it out that way.
Yeah.
Don't do that, just in case someone thinks that's a good idea.
No.
Don't
That's
do that.
what was that? Was it life hack with FURN?
Yeah, life hacks. Yeah, the life hacks that really weren't life hacks. The examples of things not to do.
Yes.
I still don't think anyone made that knife.
Oh God, I'd forgotten about the knife. Oh Jesus! Wow! Oh God, I'd forgotten about that sodding knife.
So would
I hadn't. I just brought
Clearly. Good Lord.
And
It was a knife that secreted oil as you cut things. So
oils and herbs. So as you cut it, you would layer. You use it specifically for meat. It would layer oil and herbs onto the meat, so it was just ready to immediately fry.
Fair enough.
I thought it was a really good idea.
Yeah.
That was in the same episode that cannibalism came about.
Yes, it was. Can you see how the ones were related?
Yeah. Oh God. I can see.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not even disturbed.
Charlie literally just said, Liam wanted it for cannibalism talks. The timing. That was a weird episode. It was like episode 3.
Yeah, it was very early on.
Yeah. But yeah, so you have to be the mediator. You do have to, if you have a problem with a player for whatever reason, whether they're causing problems at the table, you have to be able to assess and have a conversation with them.
Yes.
You need to be able to just be like, okay, What's up? What's going wrong? What's bothering you? Blah 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 blah. Don't again. Don't blah blah blah. That's yeah.
He's abbreviating.
Yes.
Essentially, become the parent.
Yes. That is a good way of doing it. You are a parent. You are the parent of the group.
Yep.
And they will have problems. That is both in and out of game.
Yeah.
Except in game, you're the parent who is trying to herd a bunch of cats.
Yes.
To varying degrees of success. Is there any other like super important tips I'm trying to think of? I think of the
Don't overdo your combats, encounter levels. This is one thing I have found quite a few times playing in other people's games. The CR rating is not always the thing to go by.
No, it is not. Oh God, no.
No. Look at what creatures can do.
Yes.
What are they like? Because you could get something that's really high level that does nothing.
Yeah.
Something that's low level that does more.
I mean, a prime example of that actually are things like banshees, medusas, and basilisk and gorgons.
Yes.
That all have a pass this save or suck ability.
Yes.
Because I actually have an example of that. I created a counter based around a banshee, and there were 8 players. Spellcaster knows counterspell in the group.
Yep.
That's something else. We can talk about that story.
Yeah.
Because that's another encounter I decided with something in mind. But yeah, there were 8 players, and they were all level 9, I think. So I looked up Banshee and was like, oh, one Banshee is like a CR4 creature. This is going to be super easy.
Yeah.
And then I looked at adding in a second Banshee, and I was like, okay, this makes it into a hard encounter.
Yes.
And then I was reading their abilities, and I was just there like, this could be deadly if they all fail the save against the screams, because the Banshee there'll be 2 Banshee screams. They have to make 2 sets of saves.
Yep.
I'm just going to run the one, and we'll see what happens. If they kill it easily, I throw another one at them. If it drops half the party in one scream, then it's just going to be a hard encounter.
Yep.
It dropped half the party in one scream. So I was like, okay, only 4 people are fighting this. Everyone else is unconscious now. I'm glad I didn't throw 2. Yes, that is another one. So that was another encounter I built for. I was in Storm King's Thunder.
That was Storm King's Thunder again.
Yeah. It was just after Volos had come out, so they introduced the new Hobgoblin stuff.
Yeah.
So there was the Hobgoblin Devastator.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really, really cool. The party had a sorcerer. I think it was a sorcerer.
No, it was a wizard.
It was a wizard. And they had just recently hit level 5 or level 6. So I was like, right, they've got 3rd level spells, and they know how important counterspell is, so they're going to have counterspell. So I can build this encounter, and it's going to be brutal because a Hobgoblin Devastator is rough, but there's a counterspell there. He can only do 1 spell a turn. He only goes up to 3rd level spells. The counterspell can stop him. It's not going to wreck anything. This guy is just going to look crap, and the spellcaster's going to feel awesome because they're going to stop this guy doing awesome things. So I was like, cool. He comes in, this guy, and he casts a spell. And I looked at the spellcaster like, he went, I don't know counterspell. And I went, oh. Oh, I thought you did. Oh no. And then it went from, okay, this is going to be, if everything there gets counterspelled, this encounter is tough but not deadly, to, I may well TPK. Which I technically did. I knocked everyone unconscious. But they all survived through death saves. And I was like, right. How does solve this now? This is problem.
You had an NPC shout at him.
Yes, yeah.
Straight up, there's like this military sergeant went, well, we're not going in there and helping you until you learn counterspell. End of, bye.
Yeah.
Moron.
Yeah. So yeah, that was also when I learned make sure I read the things that my players have got before I build an encounter on the fly.
That's definitely another tip there.
Yes.
Know what your players can do.
Yes. Always make sure you know what your players can do. They will do a lot of stuff. It will be hard to keep track of. But having a basic understanding of just being like, what level? It's a level 13 fighter that can do these sort of things. I needed that drink. That was really good. I'm trying to think. Other tips? Any other tips? Anything useful? Does chat have any tips? Does our chat have any questions on tips about things they want to know about GMing? We'll throw that one out in the air. Whilst we wait to see if chat, unless you've got anything else you can think of.
Not at the moment.
Yeah, not at the I know I have a long list of things that I think are good doing, but right now they're not in my head.
Of course.
Yeah. So I'm just going to move on to the next point. We'll just go to the next thing.
Yeah.
Gonna BRB quickly.
Okay. We'll have a conversation.
We'll
Yeah.
vamp.
Yeah.
Vamp.
Run!
Running!
Woo! So this is a Let's. I don't know what we're going to talk about.
Cannibalism. I'll bring it up for once.
How the turntables have turned.
Yes. There's no record in sight.
Oh, that is a very good question, Chad, which I will ask Zoe when she gets back. How do you structure your planning and prep for campaigns?
Well, how do you do it?
I can talk a little bit about how I do it, which is messily. I regularly lose track of where I put things.
Whereas I think I vaguely stray into the territory of over-prepare.
Yeah.
Where I go, right, well, what's here? Blah, 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 X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you may only hit 3 out of the 8 things.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to be similarly unprofessional while you lot have a fucking conversation about this. Bye!
And so apologies,
Yeah,
curse
that's
of being a woman struck, but then
Um,
the same curse.
yes. Chad has asked, how do you structure your planning and prep for campaigns?
Words.
Words are
Words
are
is
indeed
the most
thing.
useful
Yes.
thing to have, and have them in your head.
Yes. There.
So I do things in several parts.
Mm-hmm.
So part or chapters. And usually it's good to have maybe 1 or 2 encounters every 2 sessions for me. Sometimes some DMs like more, some players like more.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mid-maxers. Mid-maxers like as much as they can.
Yeah, that's fair. That is very true.
And try and have some RP encounters in there is just as important.
Yes.
So when you say encounters, doesn't always mean
A fight. Yes.
an actual physical encounter. Encounters can be an encounter in the woods, an encounter in the plains, an encounter in a town.
Yeah. I think the rules sort of define traps as an encounter as well.
Yep. Encounters in dungeons.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. My structure, I have a Google Drive full of notes. That's what I have. And I, in theory, have it broken down by sections. So I've got a thing of here's continent information and world history and stuff. And then inside that, I've got on this continent, here's a list of all the settlement. Here's the countries and here's the settlements within it. And then they each have their folders, and I go into that, and I've got, right, here's general info for a settlement, here's things going on in the settlement, here's points of interest in the settlement.
Yep.
Which sort of works, and then for each session I do a page of, or I do a Google document of prep, which is partly used because we record all our stuff, so it's also a little bit, here's my opening spiel, here's a bit about the recap, here's things I need to talk about before we start playing. And then I have a episode prep bit. The problem, the reason why I say my prep is messy is because I regularly forget to take things out of the episode prep and put it into the other places. So then someone in a few weeks' time will be like, oh, what was this thing? And I'll be like, I think that's in episode prep rather than in the bit of information from this settlement. So now I'm going to have to try and guess which episode I said that in, and then get the information out and figure out what it is. Right, this should be fun.
Yes. Make sure you have all your notes handy.
Yes, they're always handy. I have this laptop near me at all times now, but it's still The best way is to sort of structure how you work for reading notes.
Yes.
Having a list of NPCs handy is always good, especially if you're in a town, a settlement, just to be like, this is who they might talk to. If you're no good at coming up with like NPCs, like names and stuff on the fly, pre-creating a bunch of here's a name, here's a race, here's a gender, and here's a little bit of personality is super useful. I have my own document of that. I have used it multiple times now. I need to add some more people to the list because it is dwindling as I extend the names and the personalities.
The amount of times I've had players hook into NPCs.
Yes.
Players love NPCs.
Players love the wrong NPCs.
Yeah.
They don't like the people that you've fleshed out and given character and quality. They love the off the cuff random thing you've just gone, oh, they do this, and they're like, oh, this person I love, but I'm like, but this person is built. I know who this person is. Please talk to this one. This one, not this one. This one. Okay, this one it is. But this is a cardboard cutout. Why do you like it?
I've had a dressmaker as an NPC, and literally half a session was all about this dressmaker. It ended up into a full-blown fashion show in her store.
Wow.
And one of the players trying to hit on her. Well, no, all the other players, or all the other characters going, we should go for it.
Funny.
And being wingman.
Amazing.
Just for him, I'm just like, oh my god, this turned into a thing.
It's just a thing.
Be prepared, always be prepared for any tangents that may happen like that.
Tangents will happen. The other thing is things like quest lines. Is if you're going to offer multiple quest lines, don't detail them.
Yes.
Just note them out. Just be like, this is sort of this. This one is sort of this. And this one is sort of this. And try to give the quest towards the end of a session, because then your players will be like, oh, that one sounds interesting. And start making their way towards it. And then you can spend the time between sessions building it and be like, cool. Rather than having to build 5 quest lines and then they don't do any of them, you've wasted your time. Essentially.
Bulletin boards.
Yeah.
Just bulletin boards it.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter
I have returned.
Woohoo! So I hope
What
that
did I miss?
structure and planning and prep and mess.
Yes. As I said, I tend to over-prepare things. So, for example, Fallout, there's a lot built already
That's
that
fair.
you might not come to, but oh well.
Is what it is. So I hope that has answered the question. I hope you have found use of fullness. Yes, that was intentional. I felt like going stupid.
I think there's only one thing I forgot to mention. If you're going to make it up on the fly because of it, write notes.
Oh yeah, write it down.
Write the notes.
Yeah.
Do not forget to write notes, because otherwise it turns into generic information insert here.
Yep. I don't write notes during play because I don't have the ability to do it whilst playing. However, I have the advantage that every single thing I do is recorded.
Yeah.
Watch it back off.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at some point, when we hit our break, I'm going to go back and watch every single episode and write notes as I'm watching it, because I don't have the time to do that. But you want to learn to do it during play. It's super important, especially anything off the cuff, because you're going to forget later on.
And a player will challenge you.
A player will challenge you. They will be like, but you said this 4 weeks, 5 hours and 30 seconds ago. You're like, what?
Hey, Mr. NPC, I know you told us before, but what was your mother's name again?
Yeah.
Gwendolyn.
Right.
That wasn't it. Shut up, it is now.
It is now. I have 2 mothers.
Oh, you meant the other mother.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry.
I forgot.
Oh my god, that should be Sam Riegel's next character.
What's your mother's maiden name? I forgot.
No, a character with two mums.
I like that.
Lesbian parent. It's like, what's your mother's name? Wow.
Actually, do the other
Which
way.
one?
Two fathers. What's your mother's name? I don't have one.
Oh. What? Oh.
I apologise. Wait, what?
Your dad's name is Terry and
Darrington.
Terry and Tarrington.
whatever Terry's boyfriend is, I've forgotten. Because he does have one. Lawrence, that sounds correct.
I think Lawrence.
Yeah.
Right. Tips.
Any more?
I think we've covered it now.
I should not have said it in that way. Mine really went, we've just given them the tip.
You need lots of tips.
We've given the tips lots of times. Nothing but the tip. All of the tips.
Does that make going over favoured systems the shaft then?
I guess so. This is once again, this is the real meat. So, yeah, basically, I know you play or run D&D. You said you run a little bit of Vampire. What is your what system do you experience?
Yes.
Words.
What is your favourite system to run stuff in?
Will always be the first one I've done. Vampire the Masquerade.
Cool.
Absolutely love it.
Mhm.
But 20th anniversary. Absolutely love 20th anniversary. That one's the best one. You can flesh it out.
Okay.
I've played 5th edition. Enjoy 5th edition as well. I've also run Werewolf.
Cool. Yep.
I've helped run Starfinder.
Mhm.
Dungeons and Dragons, obviously. Ars Magica.
I haven't heard of that.
One of the most complicated systems to play in.
Fair enough.
But brilliant. Very, very blank slate.
Okay. Cool. I've only run D&D currently, but I've experienced Dark Heresy.
Mhm.
I've experienced Vampire.
Yep.
5th ed. I have read the Call of Cthulhu rules, which right now, just from reading the rules and without experiencing it, Call of Cthulhu is my current favoured system. That is the system I really, really like the rules for. Which we talked about last month. I sort of fangirled over Call of Cthulhu a lot, even though I haven't played it.
Yeah.
All I've done
Well, that's
is read
fine,
the
because
rules.
I keep fanboying over Vampire and have yet to play it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just keep watching Vampire streams going, this looks so cool! And,
Yeah.
and, like, the more and more fluff I consume, I'm like, oh, I like this.
But, yeah, no, I really like... I guess in terms of stuff I've run, D&D technically has to be my favourite one, as it's the only one I've run stuff in. Like, by definition, it's my favourite and least favourite system.
Yeah.
I did enjoy Dark Heresy.
Oh, another one. Paranoia.
I've heard of that.
That.
I've heard of Paranoia. I haven't run it yet.
Tech Goblin just acted like a cat then. Walked into the room and then walked straight back out again.
Paranoia is a game where you can punish your metagamers.
Oh, good!
It's quite literally a game about punishing metagamers because you are the computer. The computer is what runs the world. You live in the world run by a computer. So if you say words like in the rule book or anything like that, you actually will get killed because you have 8 clones. So I can kill you and to bring back a clone.
That's where I know it from, because that's a video game that's recently come out, isn't it? Yes, Paranoia.
But it's based on an RPG.
Yes, yeah, no, that is where it is, yeah. And the video game is apparently really, really good. Yeah, there we go. We've spoken about stuff, favourite systems, things we like, GM tips, DM tips.
As I say, as the runner of Dark Heresy in the group, I do like it. It just can be way too fucking much of a brain fuck on occasion. As someone who definitely likes their story and their fluff and struggles to remember rules, the fact that Dark Heresy is mine, which is like the whopping great big tome of rules.
Yeah.
You tried Rogue Trader yet?
No, I've not. I've never. No. We started an Inquisitor campaign that lasted all of one session. Before the guy playing the Space Marine got very, very annoyed that his Space Marine tripped on flat ground and fell over, because you can do that in the rules.
Yeah.
We were like, no, fuck that, not doing that. That's stupid.
It's a bit stupid.
The power armor's got stabilizers in it, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to running Fallout.
Yeah.
Simply because it's going to be a bit of a breath of fresh air and it's new. And
Yeah.
I love the Fallout universe, Fallout 3 being one of the very few games I've completely 100%ed. Platinum trophy, DLC trophies, the lot. So I'm very much looking forward to that one. And I would like to give the old Cyberpunk RPG a try at some point. Because the video game looks so fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind giving the pen and
The
paper one a
RPG
try.
is brilliant as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
I'd definitely like to give that one a go.
We've got a list of stuff, and we're going to do for this year, but we've got a list of things to sort of check out, because we want to look at Savage Worlds.
Yeah.
Because that's supposed to be quite a good free system. There's the Zombicide RPG coming out, which I'm curious.
I've forgotten about that.
I'm so curious.
The urge to just like clone Nikolai from Call of Duty Zombies. Oh, it's probably what I will end up doing. This is not original. I don't care. I'm yelling the same things in that Russian accent.
Dear.
I'm running around with a shotgun. Headshots and things.
Wonderful. Well, I think
that does about cover it.
yes.
For all of our very, very like D&D and RPG heavy, but you know that was kind of to be expected.
That was the point.
Having the wonderful special guest that you are.
Woohoo, special guests.
So yes, thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah.
Very welcome. It was amazing meeting you.
We've tagged you in social media and stuff, but shout out your...
How can people find you?
Thank you, Tech Goblin.
Yes. So yes, I will attach links. You can always find me on Facebook, obviously. Zoe Jenkins. Also, my Twitter has been attached.
Yeah, that's been linked.
Yeah.
That's my D&D Twitter. That's my almighty DM Twitter. And if you ever want to hire me for a game, just contact rolldark.co.uk.
Yeah.
You just send an email and the lovely Robert Bradley will. I do it in South East London. This is where I run one of my domains. But I'm not the only DM in South East London. There is another.
If you professionally did vampire, you could say you would be the Baron of South East London.
No, I'll be the Prince.
No!
Camarilla.
Oh!
Camarilla, not
No!
Or the Bishop.
Oh, is that Sabat?
That's about.
there you go.
Sabats are bishops
Bishops,
and
of course they are.
archbishops.
The more you know.
Wonderfully creepy. Wonderfully creepy.
Well, because Sabat is very, 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 very Catholic.
Yes.
Because
good
Le
God.
Sombre are the ones that created it, and Le Sombre are incredibly religious.
There you go.
See what I mean? Fluff monkey. I love it.
Yes, I just love Monkey. I think that's the best nickname I've heard so far.
We're all fluff monkeys in our own little domains. It's great.
Domains.
See?
I know what you did there.
See, it all works. It all works.
But yes,
Yes.
Cool.
we will be expanding into other systems as well.
Oh, cool.
There we go.
Hopefully.
So,
Brilliant. There we go.
go check out rolldog.co.uk. Keep an eye on it. Watch
Yeah,
it. Watch for all
absolutely.
the things.
So on this waving arm,
All the things.
all the things note, we will end episode 22 there. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next month. Bye.